Good morning, my fellow Africans and the world at large. This is Emmanuel Kwejumensa once again, coming into your homes and your minds with a message of empowerment and enlightenment, all the way from Ontario, Canada. Today is the 22nd of August in the year 2022, and the Bible says, "This is the day the Lord has made. We should rejoice and be glad in it." And for that matter, I take this opportunity to invite the whole world, any man or woman listening to me or hearing my voice, to join me to give thanks to God for the day that He has granted unto us and life in general. Life is beautiful. Life is wonderful. Life is glorious. Life is God Himself flowing through all things, including mankind. Today, I am going to speak to you on a topic. If you don't make things happen, then things will happen to you. I repeat, if you don't make things happen, then things will happen to you. And on this topic, I would like to give credit to my mentor, Robert Collier, from whom I borrowed this word from. The world we live in, or the universe we find ourselves, is in constant movement. Nothing is standing. Everything is moving. And therefore, every man or woman ought to move in accordance with the movement of the universe. However, if any man or woman or a group of people decide not to move in a direction or along the movement of the universe, and they decide to go against this movement, then things happen to them. And so when the topic that we are looking at says that if you don't make things happen, then things will happen to you, it is indeed true. And if we look at a river or a stream, if you actually go to a river that is flowing with high current, if you are intelligent and you follow the river, swim along the direction of the flow of the river, you are about 80 to 90% safe. But if you decide to to swim against the flow of the current, then you perish. And so life that we have, or our existence on earth here, everything has been laid for us to enjoy. And if we are intelligent enough and we go in the direction of the flow of the universe, then everything in this world will be arranged before us effortlessly, that we will enjoy. And so when you look at what the life we have, or we look at everything in this world, it is governed by a word called harmony. Everything is in harmony. Everything in the universe is in harmony. And therefore, there is an old saying that order is the first law in heaven. Order is the first law in heaven. And the meaning of this statement is that, or this old saying is that, everything that is arranged in its proper way produces the right results. I repeat, everything or anything that is arranged in its proper way produces the right results. And so if you take the home you live in, there is what we call electricity running through the whole house. It is because everything that carries the electricity has been arranged in the right way. The moment you turn the arrangement, or you go against the arrangement, or you distort the arrangement, you either burn the whole house down, including yourself and your property, or there will be no electricity in your house. And so for electricity to be produced, there must be order or harmony. Every part must work together in a harmonious way to produce electricity. The car you ride in, every part, everything is connected to each other in such a way that there is complete harmony. And therefore, when you sit in that car, there is nothing that you worry about, because every part is playing its part in its way, or in its required way. And so there is harmony. If you look at everything in this world, there is harmony. If you go into the forest, the trees, the grass, all these things are living in a harmonious way to create a beautiful scenery that we see. If you look into the star, if you look, everything is harmony. And that is things being put in the right order to produce the right results. And so it is with our lives. We are here to live a life along the order that is laid in the universe. And this order is maintained by laws, or what we call universal laws. And the universal laws, we are supposed to obey these laws to make our life beautiful and a wonderful thing. We are supposed to be creating our own realities, the positive and beautiful ones. But because there is no harmony in our arrangements with the laws of the universe, we are creating a discord. And therefore, life appears to be painful. Life appears to be something that, it is something that at certain time, at point, as some people actually go on, they wish they could curse the day they were born. They wish they are not alive. Some people even go on to take their life and end their life. That is it. Life becomes so, sour, painful that we don't want to enjoy it. And so today, I'm here to explain things to you and to empower you such that you become awakened to this truth, that the world that we live in, the universe we find ourselves in, everything is in constant movement. And it is your responsibility to go along this movement of the universe, to create things or to make things happen in your life. But if you choose to go against the movement of the flow of the universe, or going against the laws of the universe, then things will happen to you. The things that you don't want, the things that you don't want to see in your life are those things that will happen to you. But it is not anyone's job. It is not anyone's creation. It is your own creation as a result of your own ignorance. And therefore, if you look at every human being's life, any part in any part of the world, they live a life based on how they are obeying the laws of the universe, or they are in constant direction, flowing with the universe. And so we are here to create. We are here to make our life a better one. We are here to improve our lives. But the moment you fail to use your mind, you fail to use your creative powers to create and make things beautiful for you, that means you are going against the flow of the universe. You are going against the law of your own being because you are a creator. And when it happens, you will see that whatever that you have in your experience appears that those things are happening to you. But instead of you, the one actually making the things happen. So we are here to create. We are co-creators with God. And it all begins with our minds and our thoughts. The law of cause and effect is very effective in our lives. Everything has a cause. And as I use the electricity as an analogy, for electricity to flow through your house, there must be the pressing of the switch. If you decide to switch put the switch on/off, there is no electricity. If you decide to put it on, there is electricity. So there is cause and effect. So your actions and your reactions will mirror the results that you have. If you decide to be static, if you decide to go against the laws of the universe, if you don't understand the laws that governs it and everything that is given to you or that is around you, then you are either standing not without any movement. You are derailing the flow of the universe. And therefore, you will create a discord because the movement, the current you are trying to go against is so powerful than you. And therefore, every experience in your life more or less appears to be things happening to you. And so men and women normally they exclaim, they ask the question, why is it that I am going through this over and over and over again? Why me? Why me? Why me? Yeah, there is the answer to the question, why me, is that it is as a result of you going against the flow of the universe. We are all supposed to follow in the direction of the universe, a bigger and a greater force that is carrying us to a better and a beautiful destination, or in a better and a wonderful direction, such that there will be no struggle, there will be no pain, there will be no worries, but only enjoyment. We are enjoying on the current, on the power of the universe, such that whatever thing you need is supplied to you all whilst you go along. Our life is a journey here, but we are suffering. We are going through all this kind of pain as a result of our ignorance about our own laws and the laws of the universe, and therefore we are going against the flow of things in the universe. So as I mentioned, the universal law of cause and effect. The cause and effect is more or less actions and reactions. What you sow is what you reap. So in your life, however you decide to use your mind and the thoughts that you allow to run through your mind will depend the kind of life that you live. And in that case, you either, if you are intelligent, and if you are intelligent and understanding the laws of life, you will go on to make things happen in your life deliberately. We have a role in the creation or in the creative order in the universe. And therefore, every human being has to take a deliberate act to make things happen. And that is when you say you are cooperating with the laws of the universe. And that means you are in the direct flow with the universe. And as you make the deliberate act, the universe make all things happen to you. The universe causes everything that you need to come to you. And that is why Ralph Waldo Emerson said that once you make the decision, the universe conspires to make it happen. Once you make a decision that this is what I want, and therefore I desire it, and I'm taking every effort, I am doing everything that is needed to get this, regardless of however big or small it is, the universe in its own way will make that happen. But there must be the personal factor. There must be the starting point, which is the cause. And that is your thoughts. You're thinking about a thing and desiring it and making effort that you want it. And so our life is not supposed to be lived as it was given to us. But we are supposed to make effort to improve upon our lives. And when we fail to do that, then the universe will find a way to cause us to become awakened to that. So the pain, the suffering that you go through, it is not punishment, but it is as a result of your creation in ignorance. And those pain is supposed to cause you to be awakened to the truth and begin to look for the right way and the right path to follow. And so if you look into our lives, men and women, we tend to describe things. We read into history, and then we say that this thing happened to our forefathers. This thing happens to these people in this year, in this part of the world, and that, and that, and that. And therefore, those who did that are cruel. Those who that are evil. No, that is not. There is no evil in this world. What we have is the cause and effect, actions and reactions. The universe is always in a constant movement. And therefore, when you make an attempt or when you go against the laws of the universe or the flow of the universe, definitely you create a discord in your life, and that thing will happen to you. And so if we go into nature, and as I always make reference to the book of Proverbs, that go to the ant, you the sluggard, learn his ways and be wise. If we look into nature, those of us that have lived in the hinterlands or villages, you will know exactly what I'm talking about. Sometimes you'll be walking, or wherever you are. Maybe if you're going to the farm, you're going to a place or whatever, you'll see that there is a hole there. And then there will be a very heavy downpour. Then the erosion, the water will carry soil from somewhere to come and seal that hole. And then there is no more hole there. Nature goes on to repair whatever damage that it is done to it. And so it is in our lives. Nature always moves us to another level. So it is actually a call upon us for us to be awakened to the fact that we are supposed to be in the right direction. And the moment you change the direction, you are safe. You are safe. And so today, I'm going to relate this to our life as it is with the deliberate creation in our lives. And as the topic says, if you don't make things happen, then things will happen to you. Wherever you are, wherever you find yourself, whatever you consider yourself to be, it is your responsibility to improve upon your life. Whether you believe it or not, that is the truth. Your father, it is not your father's responsibility to improve upon your life. It is not your mother's responsibility to improve your life, to make your life a meaningful and a beautiful one. It is not the responsibility of the government. It is not the responsibility of the chief, as you as an individual. And so it is with the collection of people in the family, the collection of people in the community, the collection of people in the district, in the region, in the country, and then the continent or race. We hold the responsibility to improve upon our lives. And that is by using our minds in the light of the universal law of cause and effect, that whatever thing that we will start in our mind is the cause of what we will gain or what we will receive in the outer world, and begin to work in that direction to improve upon our lives. And so you will see that any group of people that don't have this concept, they always experience bad and painful things. And if you if you go into history, all these things are happening without any disrespect. If we are to look at this African continent, it's one of that we can actually see this principle happening. And then where I find myself in North America here, both in the United States and Canada, the original people who were already on this land also falls in that category. Yeah, our forefathers lived. They never made things happen. They never made things happen. And for that matter, what happened? Things happened to us. Things happen to us. And now, we haven't still even been awakened to that fact. And we are still agitating. We are still going in ignorance. If you don't make things happen, then things will happen to you. God has placed every group of people on wherever they find themselves for a particular purpose. And we are supposed to go in the direction of the flow of the universe, to co-create with God. And as the saying goes, that nature abhors a vacuum. And therefore, in a situation where a group of people actually create a vacuum, or they become indolent, they become dormant, such that they are not moving, they are not moving, they are moving against the direction of the flow of the universe, then the universe or nature has no option that to bring some people somewhere to come and awaken them up, or to quicken them, or to drag them along. And that is what we are seeing in Africa, or what we have seen in Africa in the past, and we are still seeing, and we are even in North America here. There is nothing that we don't have in Africa. In the same way, if you come to North America here, there is nothing that is not on this land. But the original people who were here did nothing. The original people, Africans, that we were on the African continent, we did nothing. And we are still doing nothing. And for that matter, the nature must move. We have to go forward. Therefore, nature has no option is to bring some people from somewhere to come and put us through painful experiences. And now we turn around and say that they did it to us. No, we did it to her. Things happened to us because of our inactiveness, because of our ignorance about the laws of the universe. Okay, so my focus is on Africa. Therefore, I will dwell solely on Africa. Whatever happens with the North America, the situation here, that is a different story altogether. But they go hand in hand. They are exact story. It is the same thing. I am from Africa, and I've been here, and I observe things. The only difference is that in Africa, apart from South Africa and maybe Zimbabwe, we don't have white settlers. But what we are seeing in Africa, We don't have white settlers, but they are controlling our land and everything. Now we even have the Asians coming in, which is China. And so why? Because we are not making things happen. The human being is supposed to take action. The human being is supposed to take action to improve upon his life. And that is why God has placed all these things around that. The things that we call natural resources, mineral resources, or whatever we call, they are not there for us to sell. They are not there for us to sell. They are there for us to use our minds to improve our life and to make things happen. We are supposed to use our minds to make things happen. And when we make our mind, as in the words of Emerson, the universe will conspire to make whatever we want to do to happen. But the Africans never did that. We never did that. Therefore, what our forefathers, they didn't even know what these minerals were. So they were just living amongst those things. They didn't know the use of it. Therefore, some people have to come from somewhere to tell them that this tree that you are pouring libation, this tree that you people are doing that and that, they can be called timber. And therefore, if you use this and that, you can do that. They didn't even know. So the people just know that, can we have the trees? Then they started cutting them. They became timber. Then when we got independent, then we realized that it's a source of revenue. And that is how we began also talking about timber. Our forefathers never, the only thing that they used the tree for were firewoods. And maybe picking one or a few of them and they pour libation to them as the god. That is where the god lives. So we didn't make things happen. Therefore, something has to happen to us. Therefore, if you look at whatever thing that has happened in Africa since the arrival of the Europeans, it is as a result of our inactiveness. Raw materials are to be used. And if the African can't use his mind or her mind to create things out of the raw materials, then the universe, nature has to bring some people who have the ability to do it. And so that is what is happening in North America here. So it doesn't matter whether we are living amongst those things. What matters is we're using our minds to make things happen. And if we have used our minds to make things happen, whatever happened as colonialism and even whatever happened as slavery wouldn't have happened. When if the African had actually thought of improving upon his life, analyzing his own way of life, weeding out things that are not in alignment with the laws of the universe, all these rituals, all these things that our forefathers were doing, if they have actually thought of it and they did the reform themselves, even if the Europeans actually came to the African continent, they would have come to, or when they came, they would have come to meet a certain enlightened group of people who are more or less equal to them. But they didn't see that. So if you make things happen, nothing will happen to you. Or if you don't make things happen, then things will happen to you. So whatever thing that we are saying that, they did it to us, or some people came and did it to us, it is never true. It is the work of it's a work of the universal laws that brought about it. But it all originated from us, from our thoughts, actions and reactions. So whatever thing that you are using your mind for, whatever thing that you are using your mind to think of, they will receive an equal measure of effects in your outer life. So our forefathers' inability to even think of constructing a bridge, our forefathers' inability to think of, improving upon their lives, at least with the concept that if you are putting up houses, let us put ourselves together and organize our houses, make roads, do this. Is as a result, that was what necessitated the universe to bring the Europeans to come and teach us and also to show us the way as to what we are supposed to use those things for. We didn't even learn lesson. After independence, the Africans still dead to this principle that if you don't make things happen, things will happen to you. And as I've already stated, the raw materials that we have on the African continent are not for sale. Please, let's get this right. If you are the government leader, if you are the president or whatever, if you are the chief or whatever you are, the raw materials that you call your own are not for sale. They are for us to use our minds to make things happen. And so long as we continue to see the raw materials as the only way of making money, but not using our minds, then we will continue to have the effect of our laziness and our indolence. That is the truth of life. We have to make things happen. And there is no way that you will make things happen. The only way you have to make things happen is by the use of the mind. And this is the time that we have to rise up, to be intelligent, to be aware, to have to be awakened to this truth that whatever thing that is happening to us, whatever thing that happened to us in the past, and even now, is as a result of the African's inability to do things, to improve himself, to move in or herself upwards. Raw materials are supposed to be used to produce goods. But so long as we are selling them, then we are creating a very big, painful experiences for our lives. And that is what we are seeing now. African countries are classified as the poorest countries in the world. But we claim that we have the natural resources and all those things. As a matter of fact, someone sent me a video that one man was talking about the number of natural resources that we have. And he was actually using Ghana as an example. He said we have about a certain number, I can't remember. I didn't take note of the actual number. And according to him, we have another 50-something or a good number of them in Ghana. But here is the case that Ghana is a poor country. Go to Nigeria, go to any part of Africa. Because we are not making things happen, poverty is happening to us. We are gripped by poverty, be it individually or collectively. Most people that call themselves rich in Africa, they are not rich. They are only duping the system. We have only a few people who are clean rich people. Look around. The rich people that we call in Africa, either they are in politics or they are into religion. Our pastors, most of the big time thing now, the universities and other things that we have in Africa, particularly in Ghana and Nigeria, I know, if they are not in politics, they are in religion. The big time pastors. Where did they get their money from? They get their money from the poor people. Apart from that, every man or woman is suffering. Everyone, things are happening to us because we are not making things happen. That is the truth of life. And this is the time I'm speaking to you, the ordinary man or woman in Africa, particularly the young men. If you don't make things happen, then things will happen to you. Don't put your trust in any man that you call powerful. Don't put your trust in any government person. But put that trust in yourself, that you have the universe is your rock. The universe is your source. And therefore, you are going to make things happen in your life. Individually, if you make things happen in your life, and all of us make things happen in our lives, we will turn the situation around. And everything will be perfect in our lives. There is no need for us to depend on these raw materials anymore. There is no need for us to depend on this government or whatever, that they can't do anything because they have no clue. That is the truth. But the only way to salvation, the only way to liberation is to liberate yourself first. And that is you coming to the realization that you are a divine being. God created you with all the things that you need, with great powers. Begin to use your powers. And that is the power of God in you, the subconscious mind. Speak to yourself. Talk to yourself. Talk to your inner being. And God will open the way. The God in you will open the way and will lead you to the right place that you become a hero, that all men and women will dance to your glory, will dance to your praises. That is the truth of life. But the fact is that it is time for Africans to rise up to make things happen. We have to make things happen. And so long as we are not making things happen, things will continue to happen to us. Poverty, hunger, lack, diseases, and all these things are happening to us because we are not improving our lives. We are not improving our lives. We are not making every effort to change our lives from our perspective, except those things that other people have already done. And so if you look at Ghana, as I was saying, with all our natural resources, poverty, and now they are going to IMF. And as far as I know from the history, Ghana has been to the IMF 17 times. 17 times. But we haven't achieved anything. And we have been selling these natural resources, mineral resources for quite a long time. We haven't achieved anything. That tells us that whatever we are doing, there is no harmony. We are not going in the direction of the flow of the universe. We are going against the flow of our own being, the flow of the universe, and therefore we are creating discord. So it appears that things are happening to us. Common things we cannot think to make them happen. As a matter of fact, when I went to England and I took my time to read about London drainage system, to be honest with you, if you read about some of these things, you'll be shocked. The way people have used their mind to create a drainage system that every water that falls on top of the land in London goes underground. Then the water goes somewhere, they recycle it. Look, it is so beautiful. If you come to Canada here, Toronto, wherever, there is proper drainage system that they are managing everything. There is nothing like floods. Unless, of course, it is a heavy downpour that has, like what we have, like Katrina and other things in the United States. No. You won't see what is happening. Common showers in Accra, Ghana. Then we say we have flood. Accra has no proper drainage system. But we have men and women who call themselves that they are the planners of the nation. They are the planners of our countries. You see how we are not using so we are not making things happen. And so long as we are not making things happen, then things will happen to us. So every year, the Accra rainfall, when rains begin to fall, then it becomes a threat to the people of Ghana, the people of Accra, because men and women are not using their minds to make things happen. Today, I am telling you that if we don't make things happen, then things will happen to you, both at the individual level and collective level. The universe is of harmony. The universe is of order. And therefore, we must go in alignment with this order. The only thing that we can do in our lives, the order that we need, is to align ourselves with the forces of the universe, with the laws of everything that God has given to us, and move in that direction. Those things will be able to turn everything that God has given to us into finished high-end commodities that they will come to bless us. But the African is dead to this truth. And that is why now the day of enlightenment, the day of knowledge and understanding has come. Everything that you have in your life, once you understand it, the use of it and the maintenance of it becomes so easy and wonderful. And so it is with our life. We are supposed to walk. We are supposed to live our life in alignment with the laws of the universe. And one of the laws of the universe is the law of cause and effect, that actions and reaction. If you decide to go in the direction of the universe, you will be blessed. If you decide to go against the direction of the flow of the universe, then you will injure yourself. It is not a curse. It is not any devil that is causing that to you. It is not any man that is doing that to you. But you are the cause. And the effect is what you are experiencing. The cause is your thinking. The cause is your thinking. The cause of everything in our life is the thinking. There is nothing that has happened to a human being that never passed through his mind. That is the truth of life. There is nothing that will ever happen to you that will never pass through your mind. That is the truth. The mind must think first, and then the body follows. And that is what we say in the Bible, Adam and Eve. Eve took the fruit, ate, and gave it to Adam. And so it is you. Your Eve is your mind. So long as your mind eats the fruit of negativity, then the body, which is your Adam, will have the effect. That is the poverty and pain and all these things that you are seeing in your life. So let us rise up and be knowledgeable and seek the understanding of life. We are supposed to make things happen. The time that we sing and we brag about our natural resources and all these things is over. The time has come that we begin to make things happen, and that is the use of the African mind at the highest level. That is begin the course. And once we have the right course, the effect will follow. As the Bible gives, Whatever a man sows is that he will reap. So we cannot be selling raw materials and thinking that will be able to match up with other countries, other people that are producing high technology. It is the time that the African has to use his mind to make things happen. And every man that has made things happen in his life did it not because of any other extraordinary powers, but because of or any exceptional powers that God has given to them, but it was and it is because of their understanding of the law. They only played around along it. They only played along it. And I will give you an example. Why do we have electricity in our lives? In the olden days, or some time past, mankind was terrified of thunder. We say that it was something by the gods, and even in Africa, we still believe in this. Until Benjamin Franklin performed his experiment by sending a kite into the universe, into the air, and then having the result. That was when it dawned upon men that this is electricity, and if we are able to do this and that, we are able to put it in a way that it will come to save us. So electricity that was more or less a torment to mankind became a servant, a faithful servant that today it is generating everything. He made things happen to humanity. Benjamin Franklin, by one experiment, he made things happen to humanity. What are you making your mind? What are you using your mind to make things happen to yourself and all other men? That is what we have to. There are a lot of things that are happening in our lives. There are a lot of things that we are experiencing on the African continent. Unfortunately, our forefathers only thought of performing rituals. And as I was talking about the First Nations and the people in the North America, it is the same thing. When men and women are using their mind to analyze, and that is when they will come and drum and perform their ritual, shout, 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 shout. These things will not take you anywhere. The more you keep on doing it, the universe will bring people from somewhere to come and teach you. But it will come with a painful experience. And in that part, or at that moment, or in that situation, you have made things happen to you. The human being is not here to be overcome. The human being is not here to suffer. We are supposed to be intelligent and beautiful creators, creating life, wonderful things in our lives. So, my brother, my sister, wherever you are, this is the time. And we have to begin to stop. We have to begin stopping drumming and talking about raw materials. If it is the power of raw materials to save us, then it will have saved us long time ago. The raw materials are there for a purpose. We are on the African continent for a purpose. And the purpose is that we are to use our minds to make things happen by using the raw materials. And this is the time that the African has to rise up. We have the ability and the power to do it. And it is only by accepting the truth that you are a co-creator with God. You have a role in the divine creation of God on earth here. You are a divine human being. You are not a victim of anything, but you are the creator of your own circumstances. And if you have created these sour and painful circumstances in your life, then you have the power to revert it into a beautiful and a wonderful one. And trust me, believe God, believe in yourself. We will turn everything the other way. Say that Africa will be a continent that men and women run to enjoy the handiworks, to enjoy the works of the African people. Look through the whole African continent. There is nothing that we can take and say that this is what the African has made. This is how we have improved upon our lives. Our villages are not well planned. Our towns are not well planned. We don't have any technology that we are using. Everything that we have is at the rudimentary level. That's a little bit higher than the lower animals. We are not using our minds. And if you look at the animals, they don't have the power to make things happen. Therefore, things happen to them. That is why you, the human being, sometimes you take your gun and you go and kill the animal and bring it home that it is your food, because they don't have the mind to think. Things happen to them. Therefore, men and women who live and they are not using their minds to make things happen, Things will happen to them just like the animals. And that was what happened to our forefathers. The white people came, they used them, and they colonized them, took our natural resources. And then today, we've become slaves, whether we like it or not. Whether you see your country as independent, we are slaves. Our leaders don't have the power, they don't have the ability to liberate us in any way because we lack the understanding of the laws of the universe. And this is the time that you, the African, whoever you are, whatever you call yourself, we have to rise up. Everything that we have been doing, this education and selling raw materials, going to other countries to talk about the investment opportunities in Africa. If there are investments in opportunities in Africa, why can't we, the Africans, use our mind to make that investment happen? That is the question that we have to ask ourselves. But it all comes down to the point that if you don't make things happen, things will happen to you. Nigeria is poor, but a very prosperous country in terms of what they have in their land. Ghana is poor. Ghana was one time in epic, but we have everything that we support. The men and women are supposed to have to be successful, and therefore things are happening to us. Things are happening to us. People will always bring to us what they don't want, the surplus that they will bring to us. And this is the time that we have to break the cycle. My fellow Africans, whoever is listening to me, this is the time that we have to rise to change this cycle. And that is by learning the laws of the universe. Today, if you haven't gotten anything from this message, now I'm putting this, let this be the word, or be an indelibly, placed in your mind that the law of cause and effect is over us, just as the law of gravity is over us. And therefore, your thoughts are the cause. And the life that you have, the experience that you have in the outer world are the effects of the law. Therefore, be wise and make the right choices. But the fact is that the Bible says, anyone that seeks will find. If you begin to seek the laws of the universe and begin to look at things from the universal point of view, and then go in alignment with the flow of the universe, just as we flow on the river in our canoe, we only have to use the paddle to control the canoe. In the same way, we'll just be swimming, going in the direction of the universe with all things supplied to us. And that is when we can declare and say that my God shall supply my God shall supply all my needs according to his riches in Christ Jesus. That is the truth of life. So my brother, my sister, Africans, this is the time that we have to rise up. Let us use our minds to make things happen. All the painful things that we are going through, the pain and the suffering that we are going through is as a result of we not using our minds. I know most people will be quick to talk of the food shortage and all these things are happening. High prices is because of the war in Ukraine and all other things. Look, it is in difficulties that people make opportunity, people make money. A country like African countries like African, if you go to Congo, they are in a jungle. If you go to Rwanda and all this, most people are in the jungle. People in the jungle should be able to produce more food enough, because they have nothing to do apart from farming, for them to be able to feed themselves. And in times of food crisis in the world, that is when we make money. Let us be forward thinkers. Let us be forward planners. However you look at it, however any government leader will look at it and make his excuses, it doesn't hold water. It is because we are not using our minds to make things happen. We are not using our minds to make things happen. We are not producing any technological equipment. We are not producing things that have high quality, that needs high technology. And if we cannot produce food enough to feed ourselves and get access and help the world, then what is our use? What is the use of the African on this world? That we will even sit down and complain that we are suffering on our continent because of the war in Ukraine. Why should people in Ukraine actually feed Africans? Ukraine, a greater part of Ukraine is in snow. It's in snow. That is the fact. Africa, 24 hours, no, 365 days sunshine with rains. Why can't we feed ourselves? Anyway, this is the time that we have to rise up. Today, the message is upon every one of us that if we don't, so long as we are not making things happen in our lives by the use of our mind, things will continue to happen to us. And this is the time that we have to turn it around. We will deliberate. Let us be deliberate creators and make things happen. Things that we want in our lives happen, we make them happen in our life, such that we'll be able to drag ourselves, move ourselves high, and become developed just like any other people. The whole thing, or the whole essence of our life on this earth is that we are here to improve upon our lives, to use our minds to improve, to advance our lives, such that we will empower one another and become one as our God, as the source who made all of us together, who made all of us who we are. That is my message for you. So this is the time, my fellow Africans, rise up and let us build our mental capital. Rise up and let us build our mental capital such that all the great and beautiful and wonderful things of our minds will reflect on our lands. It will reflect in our cities. It will reflect in our villages. It will reflect on the street. Everywhere you will see the goodness of God flowing through the African people, and we see the beauty and wonderful on the African continent, such that it becomes an attraction to all men and women. That is the truth. And you will know the truth, and the truth shall set you free. Once again, may the overshadowing presence of God that keeps the stars in the open, such that they do not fall on us, that keeps the planets in their various orbits, such that they do not clash with one another, but it's only harmony. It is only orderliness. Keep you and lead you, and open your eyes, give you an open mind and a receptive heart, such that you begin to walk in this direction and seek the order that you will flow, you will organize your life in alignment with the flow of the universe, such that your life will be beautiful, and all of us put together, it will be beauty and wonders on the land of Africa. Once again, my name is Emmanuel Kwejo-Mensah, and I am a co-founder of the Eagle Mentality Group. At Eagle Mentality Group, we teach and share information about the power of the subconscious mind and the universal laws and principles, of which the law of cause and effect is one. It is our determination and our drive to create a new crop of Africans who will think and do things in a different way, in alignment with the laws of their own being and the laws of the universe, such that we'll create a new Africa, an Africa that is technologically advanced, an Africa that we deliberately, intentionally make things happen, things that we want happen in our life, so that it reflects in every part of our continent, and it will be an attraction that will bring all men and women from all walks of life onto the African continent, so that we'll create a new, a diverse, and a multiracial Africa. As it is, Africa is inhabited by only black people, and this is the time that the African will have to rise up and create a diverse, but a universe and a multiracial Africa to the glory of God. Thank you, and God bless you.